We are getting a Hogwarts Legacy DLC. Hey guys, it's Eve. Welcome back to my channel. Feels like we're getting Harry Potter news left, right and centre at the minute. Every other week, at least once a month, it feels like we're getting some sort of Harry Potter news and I am all here for it. We got the news that we are going to be getting a Hogwarts Legacy sequel. I did a whole video on this explaining it, so make sure you check out that video if you haven't already. And in the video sort of explaining my thoughts on the sequel, I did say that I was happy, I was excited to be getting more Hogwarts Legacy content, but I was a little bit upset or worried that they would basically be neglecting the original game because they're going straight onto a sequel before we've even had any DLCs or expansions for Hogwarts Legacy, the first game. But that's now changed. They've heard us, they've heard our concerns, or maybe there was never meant to be the concerns, they had this planned all along, but there is going to be a Hogwarts Legacy DLC for the first game. For the base game that we already have, there is going to be a DLC, additional content, and there's going to be 10 to 15 hours of extra content added to the game. This excites me so much because firstly, we're going to get it sooner. We'll get a DLC much sooner than we would a whole new game, a whole sequel. So it means we can play more Hogwarts Legacy sooner, which I'm so excited about. And also they're saying that this DLC will be more story, so we're going to have an extra part of the story, new quests linked to that, as well as new side quests, new activities. The new activities intrigues me. I'm hoping there's going to be some more like just things we can do that aren't always tied to quests, so that we can do them even when we finished all the quests in the story. New costumes as well. In terms of release date, it's thought it'll be released around 2025, which makes sense. Like with there being the sequel being made, you'd think they would probably want the DLC to be released quite soon because it'll help to tie people over. They'll be getting more content sooner. And also, the DLC might almost make people hungry for more and then get even more excited for the sequel. So probably around 2025. I think probably the latter half of 2025, they might try and tie it in so that people can buy it around Christmas. That's what I would probably presume. And seeing as we've only just heard about it and it's only just in development, well, we don't know how long it's been in development, but it's only just been officially announced. I would probably give them a year before it actually is something that feels like actually we're gonna see. So now I have to chat about what could this DLC contain? What could this extra story be? There's a few different things. So one of my first thoughts before, when I was sort of theorising about what a DLC generally would look like before we knew if there would be one, I was thinking they could do something like, they could do a little story that's Christmas at Hogwarts or summer at Hogwarts, and they could basically, because the DLC, this extra story will need to be it will need to link with the game and fit with the game, but the story will almost need to be quite isolated. They won't want to be interfering with the story that's already completed and done. Probably won't really want to be opening that back up to then close it again. That'd be interfering a bit and also make us feel like what was the point in completing it before. It still needs to fit and align with the game and the story, but be able to just work by itself and get sorted and completed in 10 to 15 hours worth of content. So that's why I do think something quite isolated, like if it's almost like based on like a season or occasion, would work really nicely. But what I could really imagine is almost something a little bit like a mystery, like a murder mystery. Something happens and you got to solve it. A little bit like Chamber of Secrets. For example, people getting petrified, Harry finds out it's a basilisk, something like that, something happening at Hogwarts, at Hogsmeade. I hope at Hogwarts, because I'd love for there to be more content just based in Hogwarts so we get more time in the castle. And yes, something happens, something strange is going on and you've got to find it out. And it can link to other elements of the game. It can link to the previous story. For example, you have to find out, is it the goblins coming back? Maybe you have to go to the map chamber and ask the keepers, have you noticed anything going on? Do you think this could be maybe ancient magic? Maybe it is ancient magic. Maybe there's another character with ancient magic or an animal that's got some form of ancient magic or something like that. And something happens and you've got to basically solve it. They probably wouldn't want to almost like relate it to the goblins too much because we've sort of defeated the goblins. You wouldn't want to then have that suddenly, oh no, they're back again, and then they're defeated again within the space of 10 to 15 hours, which is why I think something a bit simpler, a bit lower stakes, but still obviously interesting, would be something like, maybe there's a creature running wild in Hogwarts, maybe there is a student that also has ancient magic but can't control it and is accidentally making things happening, or there's a teacher, maybe there's a new teacher joins and they're bad, or a teacher that's already there is bad or has ancient magic, something, I don't know. I could just really imagine basically this extra story, this new story in the DLC being almost like not murder mystery, but mystery based. You have to like be a bit of a detective as a student and solve it. But then something I saw online when people were sort of theorising what could this DLC look like is I saw some people mentioning they'd love to learn more about certain characters and especially ominous, and could the story be focused on him and us learning more about his backstory. I really like this idea. It couldn't be from his perspective because the game has always been from you as a character, so that it wouldn't be that it's from his perspective, but it could be this extra story is a lot with Ominous. Maybe you've got to help him with something, and in doing so you find out more about him and his background, which would actually be really interesting because the Gaunt family are important to the Harry Potter story as a whole. So it'd actually be really cool to learn more about them. So I would love that, to learn more about Ominous, about the Gaunt family, and that could actually work hand in hand with my other idea about there being this like a mystery, something happening in the castle that we have to solve, because it could be then you have to maybe work with Ominous to solve it. Maybe something's happening in the Slytherin common room and you need Ominous's help to get in the common room. Maybe Ominous is the one that finds out something's happening and he wants your help, or something's happening to him and he wants your help to figure it out and solve it. And in doing so, we also learn more about him, because that would actually then work really well with a lot of the base game includes the use of Ponceaves, and that's quite prevalent. And if we were to find out more about Ominous, we could learn more about him through the Ponceave, through memories, because that's like a mechanic, a mechanism in the game that's used a lot and that's already sort of there, ready to be probably added into more stories and quests. So through the Ponceave, we could learn more about Ominous's past, about the Gaunt family past, and maybe solve this mystery. And yeah, I just actually think this could all work really nicely together. And I think that would be a brilliant extra part of the story, because it would work by itself without interfering with the story that we've already completed, but still sort of fitting alongside it nicely and adding to it. So I really like that idea. So that's just sort of my sort of theory of what that extra story could be. I mean, I hope they don't just bring back the goblins or anything too repetitive compared to the main story. It'd be nice if it was something new, different and fun. For the side quests, I'm really hoping that the issue with some of the original side quests is they're quite repetitive. I'm praying that it's not just going to be, here's some more Demiguise statues to find, or here's another Merlin trial. I'm really hoping it's going to be new. I understand that every quest can't be different, can't be unique, can't have a whole new mechanism, way of playing it, but it would be nice if there's at least a few that are like that. Like, I'd rather have not many quests added, but that are really sort of good, new, fun, interesting, rather than loads of quests that are all basically different versions of the same thing. Loads more of those ones we have to follow a map. I hate those ones. That's just me personally. But yeah, so I'm hoping we'll get some fun side quests, and I really hope more of them are based in the castle, because in the main game, in the base game, it feels like we're in the castle for about half the game, if that, and the rest of it is all out the castle in the outer world that all just looks the same. So I'm hoping we'll get some more opportunities to spend more time in Hogwarts. I don't really have any preferences on costumes or anything, you know, it'd just be nice to get some more robes maybe some more seasonal stuff. I would love for maybe the story to have maybe some more cutscenes in the Great Hall, maybe us at a feast or something. That's why, if it was seasonal related, if they were able to do Christmas at Hogwarts, which they could do if it is coming out next year, they could do Christmas at Hogwarts. Issue is, if it's too seasonal, will the game only sell that time of year? I don't think it would, because it's more gameplay. I would buy, if there's a game I loved, if there was more content for it, but it was seasonal based, I'd still buy it any time of the year, but that's obviously just me, and some people might not want to play a Christmas themed game at another time of the year, so they might not make it seasonal. But if they did, then they could incorporate a feast. Maybe they could make it end of year. If this is going to be the one and only DLC, they might make the story basically rounding off your year 5 at Hogwarts, and it's that sort of you ending the year off, having the end of year feast, maybe doing something with House Point Cup. I don't know, maybe. That's, I guess, another element they could do. That could still tie in with the mystery to solve Ominous Gaunt. That could still all tie in. But I would just love there to be like a feast, a cutscene with a feast, the Great Hall. That would be really fun. Maybe to give us a few new spells would be nice. I'm not sure which spells. I don't think they're going to introduce anything like Expecto Patronum or any of them. I think because that will be a huge addition, because you're then creating all your Patronuses. I think that would more likely be in the sequel. They might introduce Expecto Patronum and you can choose between 3 Patronuses or something. That could work. But I almost would rather them leave that, put that in the sequel, and then make it even better and more personalised. But they could maybe put some more spells in. Maybe they'll give us the ability to apparate, but again, I don't think that'll be till the next game, because we're in year 5 as well, and you don't learn to apparate until year 6, so I don't think that will be the case. But probably 1 or 2 new spells, potentially some more boss battles. They're my thoughts so far. This is obviously just theories and just very sort of like just some general thoughts, but I'm really excited. I'm really glad they are adding more content, and that they're not just like forgetting about the game after, now that they're doing the sequel. I'm glad they're still adding new content to the original game. Because, you know, people that have it have invested money and time into the game, so it'd be sad to then not have anything new and have no reason to go back to it. I'm very excited. I think it'll be good. I hope they maybe put in some more lessons as well. That could be quite nice. I'm really intrigued about this new activities. Is it going to be for something new, like, for example, the Accio ball game that I actually really like? Maybe there'll be a new activity like that, or I'm not sure. I don't quite know what they mean by activities. It does make me think like almost a new mini game sort of thing. Like there's the time trials for flying and the Accio thing. Maybe there'll be something that might align with a new spell, maybe, and then you have a new sort of game that you have to sort of advance at. They are my thoughts on the DLC and what we know about it so far, which isn't much. We don't know loads about it yet, just that it should come out in 2025 and that it's happening, and that it'll be 10 to 15 hours of content. Oh, it's also thought the DLC will probably cost between $20 and $30, which is probably going to be about the same in pounds, 20 to 30 pounds, which does make sense for DLC. They're usually around that. The original game when it first came out was about 70, so it makes sense that the DLC would be about half of that. In terms of what consoles, it should come to all consoles that have the first game. Potentially, the question will be with the Switch, because the game came out about a year later on Switch compared to other consoles, so there's the potential that it might be a bit of a longer wait for people on Switch to get the DLC. I hope not. I hope everyone gets it at the same time, but there is that potential that it might follow the same pattern, but I'll keep you updated on that. Let me know what you think, guys. Are you excited about the DLC? What do you think they'll include, and what do you hope they will include in the DLC? What sort of format would you like the story to take? And yeah, make sure that you're subscribed and have notifications on, because whenever we hear anything else, I'll be updating you straight away. I can't wait to get any sort of little screenshot gameplay teasers. I'll be showing you straight away. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss that. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a huge thumbs up. I'd be so grateful. And stay tuned for more Hogwarts Legacy updates. I'll see you in the next one.